What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode. Today we're taking a look at a special copy of Goldeneye worth over $1,000, recently selling for higher than $1,500. A little background info, Goldeneye released for the Nintendo 64 back in August of 1997. It became the third most selling Nintendo 64 game of all time, only behind Nintendo's mascot's Main Adventure and kart racer, Super Mario 64 and Mario Kart 64. While Goldeneye has come back in popularity quite a bit as of late, thanks to the Nintendo Switch and Xbox re-releases, your typical copy of Goldeneye for the longest time was only around 10 to maybe 20 bucks. A great deal for such an amazing classic on single and multiplayer. If you know about the collecting scene and the N64 market, even with the prices coming up to 30, maybe 40 bucks, this of course has nothing on the most expensive N64 games. That is, unless you happen to find a very rare and elusive copy with a box of text on the front label in red font that reads, "Not for resale." The reason for this text is that these copies were produced for the sole reason of being used in Nintendo 64 kiosks. So if you were to take a ride in your time machine back to the summer of '97 and went into some Toys R Us, Walmart, and Best Buys, you would probably find one of these units with a copy of Goldeneye, just like this, staring back at you from its glowing bubble home. Despite being referred to as a demo copy, these are all fully functional 1.1 versions of the game, so you can play through it just as you would with any normal copy. It's actually the exact copy we've used for all of our Goldeneye content so far, the top 10 hardest missions, top 10 hardest target times, and the full-on beating and reviewing of the game. When I'm telling you that these copies are hard to find, I mean let's take the most expensive N64 games as example. Collectors pay several hundreds of dollars, if not over $1,000, for games that average a sale once, even twice every single week. But these not for resale copies, it's not once a week, it's not even once a month. It may not even be once a season. Year after year, with something so scarce, it of course varies, but it usually only shows up like once, maybe twice, possibly 3 times, on average, in an entire year. While these copies are very obscure, they're actually not entirely impossible to find and buy from somebody that may just pass it off like a normal copy. In fact, this copy was purchased from somebody that did this exact thing about 7 years ago. Strangely enough, 1 year after we left our college town of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, this copy was listed on eBay out of Eau Claire. I couldn't help but message and told the seller I just went to school there and asked about the item. The seller said they're currently a student, and get this, they found this copy in the exact same pawn shop I used to check out every month or two. The exact same pawn shop where we found this Mario shelf, marked down from $50 for only $10. Talk about a small world, but it was a win-win for both of us. He got an easy flip for a couple $100, and I officially had my hands on one of the coolest Nintendo 64 cartridges of all time. And crazily enough, a friend of mine that's on eBay a whole lot more than I am pointed out this sale to me, where somebody was lucky enough to nab one of these not-for-resale Goldeneye copies in a bundle with 2 copies of NFL Blitz and Banjo-Kazooie, which is kind of funny because $150 for this bundle with a normal Goldeneye, as it's listed, would be at least $50 too high. But in this case, the buyer walked away a huge winner with a savings of at least $1,000. I'm sure a fair amount of viewers have already heard of the not-for-resale games, but for those who haven't, you'd be even more amazed to know that Goldeneye is part of a prestigious, unofficial 26-game not-for-resale set.